and start the stream.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I should just take a look at Twitch. Oh, and it seems to work. Yeah, great. Good. Hello there.
Oops. All right. So we're live, huh?
Okay, yeah, we're live. Good. So, this is a first. Thank you, Jan, for this opportunity. And we don't know yet where we're going, but we'll find during this session, I think.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think we have a lot of fun things we're going to talk about, or we can talk about, right? And
Yeah.
look at and play with.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Um, where do we start? We talked a little bit about where we start. There's so many things that we could start with. I kind of wondering if you would like. Well, we could talk about what you have on your screen right now, right?
Yeah. Sure.
What are we
Sure.
looking at actually?
Uh, actually, we're looking at my published notebooks. I I recently published my 100th notebook in December, and I did a few since and published old one as well. And I'm using Observable for a lot of different things. We do have some people in Twitch. That's
Oh.
good. Cool. So I'm using Observable for a lot of different things. I've been studying a lot of creative coding during a lot of years, and I was actually I do have a lot of these notebooks where I have a lot of notes and yeah, like really
So you,
a lot of them.
wow.
And
So you make you make physical notebooks and digital notebooks.
yeah,
And
actually, since I'm using Observable, I do less physical notebooks, except for electronics or this kind of stuff. But for years, I've been using notebooks and coding in CodePen or Open Processing or GitHub Pages, and just to have the the code working. So uh, I I tried Observable because some people told about it around me, and it was just like okay, a new a new platform. So let's try it at least because I already tried a lot of different platforms. Because I didn't say it, but I'm teaching web technologies in a business school, and uh, and so I'm trying different tools for my students, and so that's why uh, I wanted to try as well Observable, and there I found that I could just have my documentation, what I was writing in my notebooks, and have the code run as well, and both of them being together, it makes more sense. I think this is, yeah, I think this is. I found this platform awesome because it helps me study different things, different algorithm, play with code, and with having everything. I mainly, since I am a teacher, I don't have the constraint to release work for production. I'm mostly using code for studying. So Observable is just a perfect platform for me. it yeah. Maybe I should
That's
just
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, you want to click on a couple because I think, we all benefit from your
Yeah, maybe.
studying in the notebooks, right? Because then like we can learn and play with them as well. So
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
Maybe I don't know if we should start from the beginning. I started with generating SVGs and observables, and I went to pen plotter, loops, GLSL, and rematching, and that's mostly the kind of stuff I've been studying this year.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's start at the
let's
beginning. That
start.
sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. So I don't know because even with my old notebooks, I think I went back to them to add more content and to add stuff. Okay, let's see. This one is from the 4th of December uh, from 2019. So yeah, it's been a bit more than a year that I've been studying that using Observable. And I think at first it was just circles in black and white. I had seen a notebook from Ricky Russo doing something like that in Ricky Russo. Uh, I think is yeah Ricky Russo. I think this was this notebooks. Yeah, I think this is with REGL. Yeah, it's using REGL. And I was like, wow, this is just crazy. Oh, how could I do something like that? But, but with the thing I know, with how I can create visuals right now. So I was like,
That's
yeah.
yeah. Sorry,
And
do you want to put that in the chat, the URL?
yeah,
Because
yeah, that's
it's
what I was doing.
nice.
and and yeah, I was thinking, oh wow, this visual is really crazy. Oh, how does it work? So I studied it a bit, and since I had not played with RGL yet, I was like, could I do it with SVG just to learn some things? Uh, First, starting with learning SVG from scratch because I had already used SVG with different libraries like D3GS or SVGGS and more. But I wanted to try something new and start anew with raw SVG. And I found the SVG um, template literal from from Observable, where you can just write SVG elements in it as raw elements HTML, and I found it pretty cool. And I was okay, since we have template literals, we can write variables in it, and let's try to add some elements. So I went to MDN like basics MDN SVG, and they do have a lot of different resources, and they have an SVG tutorial which is really awesome. I went there a lot, and I am still going there when I need a reference, and I went there and I studied different elements that I could do. So since I wanted to do some circle, I went there. Okay, I can do some circle, and just tried it. At first, I was not using some helpers that I wrote later, but I was using IIFE, uh, like an anonymous function. I mean, something like that. So the it was not really clear, but I was doing something like that. just to execute a function, no, something like that, here and here, just to execute a function directly in my SVG. Then I thought that it was simpler to add different external cells to create my elements and add them, append them in my SVG. But yeah, I love using functional syntax like map, reduce, filter, and so I went with array helper and a map just to create a lot of elements. So yeah, trying different stuff, and yeah, that's the same. By trying to create some helpers, I went on and I created no, not this one. I created this notebook because actually I was using a lot of different helpers regularly. So okay.
So you built up kind of your own library of
that's
functions you
it.
could.
Yeah, I found the inputs notebook from Observable from Jeremy Ashkenaz, I think. And it was just like, wow, you can write something in a notebook and reuse it in another one, and that was just the thing that I was missing from my real notebooks because I always add links between them. So I tried to start a system like, I don't know if you can see it on the trench, like right here, just to have some links between them and just to have categories in my notebooks. So this was kind of hard, but yeah, I was trying something with with physical notebooks. But yeah, having observables where you can link things between different notebooks, it was way more easier to organize studies and resources. So loved it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can see that you have quite a few
So,
right here. Yeah.
yeah, I started.
And so,
yeah.
Sorry, do you mind if I, like, because for a lot of these are things that happen, that come up over and over again when you do this kind of generative creative coding, right? Like, and that's, I mean, that's how you ended up writing these functions, I guess, is because you keep needing that same functionality. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started with the array, or maybe with a random function, just to have some helpers. I actually I learned coding using processing, P5 with Java environment. P5 is full of different helpers like map, constraint, random functions, and I was like, okay, I need to create some helper. The one I'm used to have when I work with P5. So I started to recreate the different helpers I had from P5, like random and more, and by using them, I was thinking of different way to use them or different need, and yeah. So maybe where is the random? There is a lot of function right now in this one, but like having random integers, or like, okay, I can use my random function with one value, two values to have a minimum and a maximum, or I recently added a way to add an array as well in the random. This is directly inspired from P5JS, which has the same random function where you can pass an array and get a random element from that function from that array. So
In
yeah,
do you think real quick you could go back to the generating SVG tab
yeah,
that you had
yeah,
open?
sure.
Does it import? Because I wonder if like, can we see where you import your helpers? Is random one of them, or oh, okay.
No,
In
no,
this case, you don't.
yeah, not yet. Yeah, as I said, this was the first one of the first notebooks, and so I started by using array. And in this one, I am not using randomness, but I'm using simplex noise. And
Hmm.
here I am requiring it from npm. But if I was writing it right now, I would do something like that. Uh, Import simplex noise from utilities. Actually, even in utilities, I just required different packages that I'm using really often, just like
Hmm.
simplex noise. So I have a cell which is simplex noise equal require simplex noise, and no, I don't need to just have a look at the syntax I need, or
Yeah,
the version. I know this version. I know how to use it, and it's really it's really helpful.
that's that's really cool. Because then, yeah, it's like you're basically building your own personal library, and whether it's a function you've written or functions other people have written and published to npm, it's all like it works for you. That's
Yeah,
pretty.
that's
It's pretty
yeah.
sweet.
Actually, pvector is an npm package I wrote several years ago, and I hadn't played with it a lot. Maybe we can just have a look at it. Um, pvector, pvector.js. Actually, pvector. This also comes from P5 because pvector is a processing vector class in
Mhm.
in P5, and so the syntax was inspired directly from pvector. Actually I really love P5 as well because it's really easy to get something working with it. And when I wanted to learn how to create an npm package, I was like, okay, what could I do? What could be useful? And I went with, okay, maybe I could have a vector library when I want to work in a pure, on a vanilla JavaScript project. I need some vectors as well. And okay, let's write my own library just to learn how to do it. And yeah, thanks for the link, Silver. And yeah, I wrote this library, and for years, I mean, like, yeah, it's been like more than 5 years since I started this library, and for like 5 years I hadn't used it, and the fact that I could just import it in Observable was okay. That's really good. I can use something I wrote already, and let's play with it. Um, like
That's great.
yeah, like
One thing I wanted to just,
mhm.
sorry, could I interject? Because
Yeah.
I'm actually probably most people tuned in have to know what P5 is, right?
Oh yeah,
But
uh,
so, and there's also this library, Q5JS, which is like
yeah,
I just put a link in the chat. It's sort of a slight modification of P5 to make it a little more modular, which
yeah.
works slightly better in Observable. So it's just P5, but like you can control the draw loop slightly differently. I've played a little bit with Q5 and P5 personally.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, you know, P5's amazing in terms of what people um, do with it. So, but just for
yeah,
those who are interested in like, I mean, if you search for P5 on Observable, there are quite a few examples. But I think that like,
absolutely.
have you actually tried to use P5 in Observable, or did you?
Yeah, actually, I'm using P5 for the for the other tools I wrote. Like all my loops are made with P5, but yeah, it's quite difficult to use with Observable, since P5 is trying to create a lot of global variables, and yeah, it's not the way Observable work. So there are, it was a bit of a work to tame uh, P5 into observable, but yeah, some people like Tom McWright had had created notebooks with it, and I was directly inspired by that. I saw
Nice.
also I think it was Mark Webster who wrote yeah, this is him, maybe. I think he has an helper as well, or maybe this was this one. Yeah, like he wrote. I think he wrote a course, and with P5, and I've seen it in it. I think it was in his course that it was embedding observable notebooks, and I went there just to have a look at how we should use P5 in observable. This is not really easy, but from that I was really interested because I knew how to use P5. I had some experience with it, and it was like, okay, I love P5 and I love observable, so I'm sure I can find a way to use both of them and do something with them, and that's what.
Do you,
Yeah,
yeah, can we? I mean, I know we're kind of meandering, but I mean, since we're on P5, like, do you want to show some of your loops, or
yeah, sure.
yeah, I guess you have a collection here.
Yeah,
Would
I
definitely.
started by using Mark Webster P5 helper, and just from I just adapted it a bit, and just to remind the import. It was much easier for me to just do, okay, import from @micro 155 slash
Mhm.
p5, instead of reminding something like at mwebster, or I can't remember already the URL, at free@bureau slash some p5 basics. Yeah, it was easier just to get the function in a new notebook, to have a quick way to import them. And from that, I went to the utility I wrote to create a lot of um, loops, since this is yeah, the BN bombs utility that I'm using to create loops. So I've been using it like a lot. uh,
Wow, yeah.
Maybe I can, yeah, I'll go there just to. I'm publishing my loops on Giphy. It's a convenient way to say hello to my team on Slack by sending a GIF as well. And yeah, Uh,
It's cool.
so all of those loops are using P5. Even when I'm using shaders and remarching, P5 is a way to run my shaders, and yeah, it's really convenient. It's really easy to create a lot of different things, and I can prototype in both 2D and 3D really quickly. But this year I'd like to also use 3GS as well, and different things I have in mind. I just
Yeah,
subscribed to Bruno Simon course 3GS journey. So there should come some 3GS loop soon. And I think there is already a lot of different um, notebooks with 3GS as well on Observable. I think that uh, oh, I can't remember his alias. But I think I can find it on Observable on the home page. I think I can find it. Hey, thanks, Corn100. Um, no worries. In the Explore overview, I think this is Mutari, but I don't. Mm. Oh, yeah. Pure. Yeah. Fabian Iwan Mutari.
Mm.
He also created different tools really interesting to create loops as well, where you can just pass a canvas, and I think not sure which. Yeah, he also has a lot of really interesting notebooks.
That's yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
But yeah.
okay. So yeah, maybe some new things.
Um, your yeah, like maybe this is a good time to pull up your creative coding notebook because I feel like we've already touched on many different things and some but when you wrote this notebook, right, to like to give a more comprehensive overview of the that your first 100 notebooks basically,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good stuff in here and I
At
think
least
that
digital
maybe
notebooks. Yeah.
you're what?
Sorry, I meant digital notebooks. It was the first time.
Digital
Yeah.
notebooks. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, and I
uh,
was like really impressed by how much I could do with this kind of tool. So that's why I started writing this article.
yeah. Do you want to scroll down slowly and we can like
Yeah, sure.
go just talk a little bit about because I think yeah, like we looked at one or two of your original SVG explorations. You've really done some like some cool things. One thing actually that came up for me like and you put it here, right? The SVG works that you're inspired by from folks
Yeah.
like Sarah, Nadi, Shirley, Sarah, and Mike. Is that like a lot of they, not all of them, but a lot of what they're doing is data visualization, and you're making you're generating this beautiful artwork. But the like the techniques, the technologies, and a lot of the techniques, the way you think about um, using these technologies are very similar, right? Like
Yeah.
the things that you're able to do here could be directly applied to data visualization. And sometimes I think like the data visualization techniques are being directly applied here. So to me, it's fascinating. You know, someone who spends like most of my professional time is focused on data visualization with, you know, mostly with SVG, sometimes with WebGL. Like I look at your work and feel really inspired and like really want to take some of these ideas and apply them to like the next data visualization that I'm going to work on. So
Good.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, no, it's
yeah.
amazing.
Actually, even though I'm not working with data as it can be understood, the idea is as well to shape numbers into a visualization, and even through most of the time I'm using randomness or noise or different things like that. I need to shape my input as well to have something that can be uh, outstanding, to make some element, to have some contrast in the different uh, visuals. So yeah, this is the same idea of having numbers and having them say something, I think.
Yeah,
So you need to write with different algorithms like triangulation or Voronoi. You need to use some basic representation like circles or yeah, you we do have the same tools in the end, but I'm not using directly the same input, I think. But yeah,
right.
I'm really inspired by their work. Yeah. Actually, most of the of the of the inspiration I wrote here come from the database world, but yeah, it could have been more artists like Matt Delaurier or some more. But what I thought the most was people working on the web, working with the web and working with web technologies. And Sarah, Nadia, Shirley, Sarah, and Mike have shared an amazing quantities of work and resources. And yeah, I've been really impressed by by what they shared. So yeah, they
Absolutely.
all come from the database world, and yeah, totally inspired by them.
Did so I mean, yeah, these are amazing. Did you like when you did you reach any limits with SVG? Is that like I mean, I'm this may be an educated guess, but like, you know,
Um,
as you explored SVG, you made more and more. Is it that like when you move to GLSL or these other tool like P5 and bees and bombs, like is it the
um,
nature of the things you can make, like pixel versus vector, or is it like the limitations of SVG's performance? Like what comes into your decision of which of these tools to
yeah,
like be using?
yeah. I really think so. Like I said before, I don't have production constraints, so I'm not limited by the time a work can take to render. So I pushed some of my SVG like this one, um, which can be really long to render. Um, and but I really try to use the technology for what they are made. Like SVG is really for vectorial elements. So this is great to have print after, or even to work with machines, as we can see later. Okay, so it takes quite a lot of time to render. Don't know if you can see the icon which is loading. I should have the warning from Observable as well. Okay, maybe we'll wait a few more seconds. But yeah, I'm using SVG to create prints and vector works. I don't know if I have some right here, but I'm working in a fab lab, so I do have access to a lot of different machines, like oh no,
Laser
yeah,
cutters or
yeah, like
CNC.
laser cutters, embroidery, pen plotters as well. Okay, let's kill this tab maybe. Oh no, okay, so it was starting to render, but too slow.
It's taxing, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm using SVG as well for working with machines, and yeah, this is the vectorial point that is really important for SVG. But yeah, after some time, I was like, okay, this this SVG, I'd like to animate it, and I tried to, but my way of doing SVG was not really convenient with it. So that's why I went to the canvas to animate my elements. It was faster, more easy. It was easier to do it with the canvas.
That makes sense, yeah.
Maybe, yeah, just to get back
I
to
mean,
the plotter.
I'm really like itching to get a plotter, and because yeah, I mean most of my work is in SVG
Yeah,
for the data visualizations, and I've seen your plots, and like there's a plotter Twitter, right? Like
yeah,
people making really cool things, um, and I love that sort of blend between like taking digital into reality, um, and kind of getting to mix in that way. It's so interesting.
yeah, and yeah, these machines are just so awesome. Even through I've been working in Fab Labs since, I don't know, like 8 years, and I've been using laser cutters as well when I was in an art school, and so I know these machines, but I still just can't stop staring at them when they are working. It's just awesome. The precision is simply great, and it, it's really impactful. I was wanting to. Oh yeah, I have one right here. This is this is something I made with a laser cutter, and something an SVG I made on Observable, and here I am using paint and different paths of laser cutting to work on, on a plastic, like uh, acrylic, I think, on plexiglass.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is just awesome. What you can do when you have access to those machines and just creating your SVG in your browser.
Yeah. It's so interesting, right? Like the iterative power in the browser, right? Like the immediate feedback, the results, and then you get something that's like machine friendly more or less with the SVG, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool. I'm gonna have to get a
Yeah.
plotter and follow all your
maybe,
Three
yeah,
notebooks to
to
learn how.
convince you a bit more. Yeah, it's just, oh, there is a blur, I think.
The
Yeah,
webcam's
right.
not. Oh, there
Yeah,
it goes. Yeah,
but yeah, so this is
it's so
awesome.
fun.
Yeah, and it's really good to have them in a notebook instead of just showing your screen. Uh,
Right? Yeah.
this gets a more personal feeling, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
this is
something you can
physical.
touch,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah. That's so cool.
yeah. Also had the chance to work with embroidery.
Oh wow.
Um,
Oh, that's really cool.
like
So that is that like on a shirt or a
yeah, this is on a shirt. Actually, this was like the first test, but it's really impressive. And yeah, just it's just the same. Doing. I'm creating my SVG in Observable and export them and use different machines.
that's so cool.
Yeah, and from one SVG to another, I was using yeah. That's the way my utility notebook grows so big. Like there is a polygon class in it um, to have different Boolean operations because I couldn't simply hide shapes below another for machines. You need to have your path and as well as hatching functions. Um,
Hmm. So it's
so
not, yeah, like
yeah,
a solid fill.
yeah, a way to compute all the path in it. So and yeah,
That's awesome.
this is quite amazing what you can do with SVG. But there is still a lot that I'd like to play with. Like I haven't played a lot with filters, like creating visual with like a GUI effect or
Mhm.
I've been looking at the displacement maps as well that you can use in SVG, and or even the patterns that you can use to fill it. This morning, I saw that notebook on the homepage, and
Wow. I
yeah,
didn't see this yet.
this is awesome. So you do have a lot of different categories
Wow.
that you can use, and and use them for your visualization. So
Oh,
even though the palette is less as less hue as less saturation as the palettes I'm usually using, uh, I think this would be a great. Uh, I'd love to use that. I will. And yeah, you do have a lot of different feeling. Yeah, I love that.
yeah, that maybe I'll share a quick link because so EJ and I stream data visualization stuff, right? And there's one we decided one time to spend an hour trying to get textures, and I think the result on this one actually is not. Um, There's another one I think we did, but like it's like we've made so many
Yeah,
visualizations with that form, But then like if you can take a technique, like add it, just change the color palette to be a texture,
Mm-mm.
like all of a sudden you can get a totally different look and feel, right? And um, it might be a little taxing. I think it's calculating a forest layout for every county in the U.S. So I got excited when you showed me that because we use Texture.js, which is
Yeah.
like some open source library, and just like tried to learn it on the stream, and we got something going, right? And it is like not exactly what we were hoping for, but it was like, hey, it kind of works. But now with Tom Shanley's notebook,
Mm-mm.
it's like, oh, like I could take one of those palettes and just apply it to my visualization, and I would get more what I was looking for,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So here we, had a sort of numerical scale. I think if you scroll up, perhaps it
Yeah.
will have. No, it still hasn't visualized, um, but yeah, you got to see the palettes, and I don't know. So that's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, so there is still, yeah, you were asking if I had reached the limitation of SVG, and definitely no. There is still a lot to explore with SVG. Yeah, this technology is just awesome. Even though sometimes it can be a bit frustrating, like, well, I mean, it's the same with Canvas. You can't have a conic gradient. You only have radial or linear gradient, but with Canvas, I can use a shader to just distort my space into something radial and create conic gradient-like elements. So that's
Hmm.
why I was looking at displacement map, just to see if I can have some straight line and bend them with a gradient, with a linear gradient, and see if I can do this kind of things. But there is quite a few examples on the web with displacement maps, or at least something different from the basic noise algorithm that you can have in a SVG. I wanted to. I need to try something more.
It may have loaded up at the top now.
Yeah. Mm.
If
Maybe my
not, then
maybe my
we
computer
should.
is having some
uh,
difficulties with OBS, Twitch,
Yeah,
Chrome running all at the same time. Okay.
certainly.
Yeah. Wow, that's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah. So there's some like obvious things that could be better about this, but it's encouraging to like open up to like a totally different pathway, right? And that's what's exciting
Mm-mm.
to see. Like, like for like you just shared Tom's thing is like now I could very quickly try that out, right? Or as quickly as this will load, but
Yeah.
relatively quickly.
Yeah, because
Um,
I think that we can use. I think you can use is his notebook in different ways. You can, I think, have them in D3 pretty easily, but I think it should be the same for me. I can just append them in my definitions, uh, and then simply use the fill. What this morning I think I saw. Oh, it was done. Ah no, preview palette. Okay, so it's a preview palette which is right here. Yeah, so he's just creating a depth and he's using HTML. So actually, I could use just the same. use it into the way I am using my notebooks, or the way I am creating SVG. I mean, so definitely a notebook to give a look at.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe I don't know. Should we
Well,
should we just try something?
I think yeah, I mean, I was thinking that that could be a lot of fun. Um, like I would love to, yeah, like, I mean, to see what you do when you start from an empty notebook and maybe do you, I mean, you have all your utilities, so you have a lot of things that you can draw in quickly, but
Yeah.
like,
Mm-mm.
do you just start with a seed of an idea? Like, I mean, I'm assuming with like all those paper notebooks that you have a lot of, you probably have a lot more ideas than you've tried, but like, what is your process there? Like,
Oh, I don't know how to say it in English. I'm doing a lot of they. Uh, I'm watching a lot of social networks like Twitter or Instagram, and there are a lot of really interesting artists, and I I bookmark a lot of their work, and get really inspired from that. Sometimes I'm just trying to recreate something I've seen, just to try to understand how it was made. And once I have a good understanding of the structure, I'm trying to adapt it to how I could uh, give it my my touch. I mean, yeah,
mm-hmm.
like actually that's what I said with the the notebook from Ricky Racer. I started his uh, from his shaping of the elements, try to recreate it in SVG, and then try to go a bit further in my own way, at least. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Is there
Well, do you have a recent inspiration that we could look at and maybe
yeah, sure.
play with?
Which one could I use? Let me see just 1 second. Uh, Trying to find one that I could do. Actually, there are some that I don't know I could do that. Like, okay, let's go for this one maybe. Oh, the link. Oh, I just want to see the result. I don't want my. Okay. Let's have a look at that. Come on. Something
Whoa.
like that, yeah. I don't know how to tackle it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But is that how it starts? It's like, I don't know how to tackle it, but I would love to
Yeah,
try. And then you start looking at it.
yeah, and just trying to decompose the different shapes, and
Mhm.
there is a lot. Actually, there is really a lot in it.
I mean, yeah, like we won't be able to finish, but it'd be really
Yeah.
fun to start, I think.
Oh,
Do you
but
want to?
I see here that there is a can. Like, oh, I thought this was, no, I thought this was like the Chrome icon or something like that, and maybe that was images that were displaced, just translated, but no, this may not be that.
And there's this layered, like
Yeah,
stepping,
yeah,
like even starting with that effect and being able to like
yeah,
render on different
yeah,
layers or
sure,
something.
yeah, we can start with that, actually.
Do you
So,
mind putting that link in the chat too?
yeah, of course. Okay. So let's try to do something like that. So actually, so I'll start with a blank blank notebook, but usually I'm having a template that I've wrote. Where should I find it? I think it should be in my tools. Okay, let's just have a look at the template, because yeah, it's a oh, actually I can publish it. This is my go-to notebook when I want to start a new one for SVG, for creating SVG.
Mm-hmm.
I added a few elements like a width 8 parameters, a get random palette that I'm using from the Give Me Color notebook,
Mm-hmm.
seed when I need to use a pseudo random number generator, and n, which is like the number of elements I want, which can be a parameter. And now I used um, this this little thing. I think it doesn't need to be mutable yet. I haven't made it. Um, but the idea is to have the parameters in the URL when you want to share a specific composition. And right here we do have a link to create a permalink to this composition. I think it still needs one thing. I was thinking about it. It is a version of the notebook, since we do have versioning in Observable. Um, I should also add the version of the notebook to make sure that we have the permalink to the notebook at a specific point in time. And yeah, this is. I do have a few parameters. Here I have my SVG. I'm creating a pseudo random number generator, and I do have a few imports, which are array, shuffle, PRNG, and get random palette and display palettes from Give Me Colors. So yeah, let's start a new node. Okay, so maybe. Um, Oh, there is a tweet. I can't remember. Maybe import tweet from tweet. I think this is something like that. Yes, perfect. And then just tweet. Oh no, this is not a good one. I need to copy. Something like that. Okay. So maybe I try to I'll add like imports as well. Imports. And I'm usually importing random, int, array. So arrays to have an array of elements, random and random. Okay, okay. I need also shuffle to shuffle an array. And I think that's also from utilities, and then import a few colors like
oh, someone in the chat says that they can't see the code. They're asking you to scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, I was at the bottom. Sorry.
There we go. Yeah.
Get random palettes and display palettes from slash give me color. Yeah, give me color is a notebook that I wrote just to get to get palettes, because I was not really
yeah,
nice. Yeah. I was not really good. I'm still not really good with colors, so I went to a lot of different websites like Colors, Adobe Color, Muesli also has palettes, and a lot of different ones which have a lot of different palettes. And I started this notebook just for myself as a way to have access to a lot of different palettes. But I think a lot of person already found it and found it useful as well. And I know the notebook is quite grown as well with my needs. And yeah, this is just crazy. When you start something for your own in your in your I don't know, in your corner, and finally it's useful to a lot of different people, and I love that it can be useful to others as well. And I know I do have a lot of method to get palettes from an image or to work with different scales. So yeah, this is a really useful notebook now for me, and it really helps me with colors. So okay, so I have that. Let's start with let's say a width. Let's say we want a width of I don't know, like we will use the width of observable. And if we try to have something, let's do something square for now.
Okay.
And what do we want? We want a palette. So usually I'm using something like that. Okay, random palette. So, and I'm using a second variable, which is shuffle p. So I can just randomize the order of my my random palette. Because usually I'm using the first color as a background color, and then I'm using the other one for my elements in the front. So I could do something like that,
Yeah.
and then I need to see that display palettes. Palette. Okay, and
Nice.
now I can just switch my palette, and then when I have one that I am okay to work with, I can just do something like that. Oh, but actually I used that by because I'm used to do that, but where is
This always happens, right? So many
yeah.
times.
Yeah, because I'm used to do something in a way. This goes faster than I can think of it. But maybe we should just have a look at this palette.
Yeah.
So, which one are the first? I want one with patterns. um, there are some really good. Okay, go for this one. Let's try.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, what? Okay. So, no, this is not the one I was wanted. Okay.
Oh, right there. Yeah.
So this one.
A color palette made in 1891.
Yeah.
Vintage.
Yeah, really.
Vintage flavor.
So what do we have in it? That's one of the cool things. Sequential. I like to. We have range URLs. Oh, and we have patterns.
So I didn't see. Let me see if I can read it too. Because I know with SVG patterns, you have to sort of put them in the page, right?
Yeah,
and then
I think.
Then you reference URL.
Yeah, I think so. What we can do is something like that in using SVG. We can. So let's create an SVG with a width of W and then 8 equal to page. I'm not sure we can. Oh, no. We will see later. SVG. Okay. We now need defs. Some definitions.
Did you see? He has instructions. Are you looking at that as well?
Yeah, and I will just use that using.
Oh, okay. You're using the template syntax.
Yeah.
Right.
Sequential. The patterns. Okay, that's it. And so, okay, I have my. Maybe I will do it a bit smaller, just to see. Yeah, something like that. I don't know if I can already use that as a background. If I'm using, I know it can be only used as a fill. So I should be able to create a rect with a width. I don't need to specify the x and y coordinates because it's on 0, 0, so the width is at W. I like to write my elements by going to the line and of h. Stroke known and fill equal to and here I have the end of my array, and so this should be sequential. Oh, I can use random sequential dot range. Ah, no.
Range URLs, right?
Yeah, you need a URL. So this is something like that. This would be an ID. And here. Yeah.
Nice.
Wow, this is so cool. I really need to dig into his notebook. So,
yeah.
Instead of using random, I'm going to use the first one, as I said. So, okay, this is just a plain color. Great. But, oh, aren't the other elements with the same? So, if I'm using, if I'm having a circle, let's say we have a circle in the middle of our SVG, so it should be W multiplied 2, the C Y should be. Actually, this is not a lot different from using D3, where you are using attribute or the dot at to set an attribute to a shape, but here I'm writing directly. Thanks, Cyclone. Thanks, Rod. Here I am using directly the elements, so Cx, Cy, and we want a radius of, I don't know, something like 200. No stroke equal none as well. And here we want a fill with, let's say, something like that. Oh no, okay, we do also have the colors for the other elements. Okay, I was thinking that maybe my elements were transparent here, so that's great. We can just start with using it. Let's do it a bit bigger to see it, and if I'm using 2, 3. Oh. Okay, I'll try another field equal now only the. Okay. So sometimes I love to do something else. No. Like right here, my shape is not visible, so I maybe need to add a background to it. I think the background color is given at the beginning of the notebook. Oh, some are really beautiful. Oh, this one is really awesome. Maybe I change.
I mean, there's only one line, right?
Yeah.
Swap the.
So here is using this background color. So maybe I should just, if I'm having my element with the same color, maybe I can use style equal background color, and now.
I think the comment of the attribute might actually be breaking the way that you commented out fill black.
Oh
I
no,
don't think
this.
that
Yes. Okay, yeah, sure. No.
HTML doesn't like that. Well, okay, that didn't fit.
Okay, just okay. Oh, now the color. The color. Mm-hmm. Oh, is this
I'm not sure if the style would override that.
trying to have a look?
I guess
No, the pattern is just the gray lines. So I don't know if
the
the
like. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the patterns consist of. Oh, it's just the gray lines as we can see here. So why can't I have a background color? That's kind of weird.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay. So the 0th one is just the full fill, and then it's the same. The lines are the same color. That's why we're seeing something like that. I guess. I mean the brute force way would just be a copy your circle, right? And like layer have one that's
Oh,
filled
yeah, like I don't. Yeah. So
the
let's see.
same.
Um, I'm going to keep it right here. Mm, so if I have the first circle, which is oh yeah, I need to remove that, and use background. Yeah, that's
Mm.
what I was trying to do. Okay, well I take a look later. So what we want to do is having something like that. So the shape is like a path. Let's say
Staircase kind of
yeah,
thing.
staircases. Um, maybe we can just do rectangles or squares, and if we group them, we can. If we group them, we can have something like that. Okay. And this may be a bit more difficult than what I thought.
Would would you make that shape as like one path,
Yeah.
right? That like, or make several of them out of paths, or would you like compose rectangle? I mean, it's a bunch of squares, right? So like,
Yeah.
how would you normally think about something like that?
I'm not sure if I will if I would be going to the squares or the shape. Maybe I'll use a shape. So
Yeah.
let's have a bunch of shapes. We need to have an array of them, and we are going to have them going from the bottom Okay. Alright, let's add an array of 3 for the minimum. Dot map I, and we'll have a return path will have a transform, translate, something like I times. Let's say we want our shapes to be 30 by 30. Yeah.
Okay.
30 and 0. Yes. And we need a field which will be URL. No. Random sequential range. Okay. No, we don't want that. We don't want the first one, so I'm using random or even randint 1 to that name. And now we want to create a path. So the path would be something like a staircase. So how will we do it? I think we want some points going up. We need 2 for each step, and we also need we need the other part. So if this is a staircase, how will we do it? Let's try something.
Yeah. When I think about paths, right, like they start at 0, 0, right? So
yeah,
in our case, it's okay that they always start at 0, 0 because we're going to layer them in the right order. And then how many steps it is based on the overall I, right?
Yeah. So we need something like h divided by 13, like next, that map. And here we want some points. So we could have something like h time 13, g time 13.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
But we also need so we do have a second one at the same 8 because we have a stair. So maybe we should start by doing that one.
Because we can compose the points. Like for every point, you have 2 path operations or something like that, right?
Yeah, we do have coordinates. We can use relative coordinates at least. Never used that, but I think this would be an easy way to do it. Maybe we can just move to 0, 0 first. And then use we'll return. Okay, so if we have 0, 0 first, let's move back to um, minus 30, 0. And then we need a second one, which will be minus 30, minus 30. No, minus 30, 30. But it won't be visible if we are doing this way. So let's try to do, I don't remember the syntax for shapes, but we can just have it right here.
So L is to draw the line.
The path, okay. Oh, that's it. We do have dx and dy. So let's go back there. So I can just do dx 30.
Oh, I think if you do a lowercase m,
Yeah.
then you give it two numbers, then you're giving it the change, the relative.
Yeah, that's it.
But
I actually I don't want to calculate the different places. I will be using a translate for that, for positioning them. So actually, I think the easiest way would be to use the relative coordinate, just to. But maybe yes, you mean L. I mean
yeah.
Oh, so yeah, okay. So this is L. So I want L, and I want another line from L 30. So here I am having a first line from 0, 0 to 30, 0, and then I have a second line from 30, 0 to 30, 30. And I can do it a repeated number of times. And then also that I need to join them. And once we have that, we want to move back from, I don't know how much do we have to move back. Since this is this path, we need to go 60 pixels back. So here we need to go minus 60, 0. And then we can do the same loop in the opposite way. So we want to go, once we are back, we want to move up first. So 0, minus 30, and move back minus 30, 0. And we want to close our path, so we should have something like that. Oh, what is going on?
I think you need a closing curve.
And I need to join them as well. The Z should be here. And I have nothing.
What if you fill, because the background, can you make your background rectangle be the background color instead of one of the ranges? So I think that range, that first element is just the solid color that all the other patterns will use.
Let's see. At least I'm going to use private. Okay, here we have something. Okay,
we got something.
And we do have shape. We do have stairs. But yeah, we are doing them in the opposite way, I think. So here. Oh yes, I only did 3 of them, so I need to go to the divided by. 30. And here I have a lot of them. And
Oh, but
so,
his kind of patterns are, one of the patterns just gives you a line.
yeah, but
If you do,
I think this should be this way. Yeah, this is what we need.
okay,
Here we have our
that's good.
stairs,
Yeah.
pins, because we are moving, actually we are moving from 2 squares to 2 squares. So this is 60. Then we have the next one, another one, another one, another one. But we want them in the opposite way. So maybe I'll add another transform. We want them from, okay, we will do a first translate, which will go to W times 2. Because we have diagonals, the maximum should go from this point to, sorry, not on the right screen. It should go from this point to there, until we have something that goes in this way. So 0, and we want a scale, which will be -1, 0, and okay, I don't have the right coordinates for them. If I'm doing that, I'm translating them. Okay, I don't have enough elements, I think. No? Why? Where are my elements?
Well, the scale -1.
Yeah, because I want to flip them on the x coordinate. On the x-axis, I mean. So if I'm translating them like that, then flipping them, I should, where is it? I will just use console.
This is
Maybe,
part of the process, right? Like when
yeah,
stuff disappears, you got to find it.
yeah. So, okay, I do have my element somewhere, but it does not show me anything. So I should have them, but it's,
If you don't flip them, do they still show up? Or should it be scale -1, 1 instead of -1,
oh
0? I
yeah,
haven't used
oh
scale in
yeah,
that part.
sure. Yeah, that's it. Of course, it should be
Yeah, we just
1.
flatten them.
Scaling by 0 is just 0. Okay. Uh, so oh, I said times 2, not divided by 2. Okay. And here we are with the different elements.
Nice.
Great. Maybe I don't know. If we want to add the different shadows, I think that our elements should go should be a bit longer, but oh. Oh
Yeah, the
yes.
shadow.
Oh yeah. We can just do both right here. We want to return the first path and the second one, except that the first one we don't use this fill color. It will use for I said for now I said palette 0. No. Why do I have that? Oh, palette 0. Okay. And we should go on the first one. We should go back. Ah no, that's on the last one. We should come back to a, oh, it will overwrite our elements, I think. Okay, if we go back to 90,
So the second, what is the second path in each of these four?
this is used to have a gradient, a shadows that without the idea is to have our elements going one under the other, to not have the shadows to be seen all around.
I see. Should the second or the underlying one be filled differently to like?
Let's just to see it. Yeah, so we have them all over, but what I was wanting to do is that my elements goes under the other one, and
is it a problem that our fill patterns are sometimes like transparent, like they don't actually fill, they like overlay?
No, I think it shouldn't be a problem. The idea is just to create a mask so that I can hide, so that I can hide when a pattern comes over another one. I don't want to see. Actually, I don't want to see the other pattern behind the first one. So that's why I'm duplicating my shape and adding a solid color to the second one, so that I can just hide the second the pattern that which is behind, the path which is behind.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so if we add a shadow, actually for shadows we can just use a style element. And let's say for shadow, can't remember how to create shadow. CSS. Usually I have one in my previous notebook, so I'm just looking at it. So let's say I want one where I have shadows, and like this one. Cool, we do have some people in
yeah, RJ Info We Trust, who I believe Tom used his work to make these patterns, so that's exciting.
Great.
I love this notebook, by the way. Like I've played with the effects, trying to add like the shadows to some of my other SVGs. I just love how it looks. It's like paper.
Oh no, and the other one I was using. an SVG shadow. I just wanted a CSS shadow. Don't I have one? Okay. CSS shadow generator. Okay.
And I mean, I'm having a lot of fun, and we're in the depths of this, but I do want to point out the time just in case, because
Yeah.
you mentioned you might have to,
Oh yeah,
you know,
sure. Oh, my
jump
daughter
off.
should come
But
home soon. So let's just try to add that here.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I just want to add this one, but in the same time, yeah, we should um, start planning how to continue this really interesting way of discussing ideas and playing with uh, playing with code as well.
yeah. I mean, I'm having a great time. I think we mentioned maybe being able to do this together like every 2 weeks,
Yeah,
like similar time. Um, I would, I'll definitely show up.
good.
And yeah, I think
Um,
it's really, for me, it's great to see your process like this and to go from an empty notebook to something that's starting to resemble our inspiration. Like it's really cool.
yes, that can take quite a lot of time. Actually, for some notebooks, I'm writing them in something like 20, 30 minutes, and for others, when I don't really go where I'm going, it can take a few hours or coming back to them. Sometimes it's just about starting with an idea and going to another notebook, and and at one point, the previous idea just tingles, and I'm like, okay, I can just integrate this previous idea in this new notebook, and let's see how it works. And I think maybe today's notebook would be that kind of notebook, the kind where I start something but need some time to think about how to use it, integrate it, and see how to add something interesting for another one. So maybe this is a good transition for, let's see, the next time how we can come up
Yeah.
with something good based on this idea.
Yeah. I think it'd be a pretty natural point to say like we got the structure. Yeah, this is the way that you get started, and then I'm sure you'll sleep on it. I
Yeah,
will too,
sure.
and then like when we
Hmm.
come back, we can say like, hey, like what did you think
Yeah,
about it in the meantime? And either you want to go further in one direction, further in another. Like we tried new stuff, we
yeah,
tried
sure, sure.
patterns, we tried, like yeah,
Yes, yeah, I love that. Um, yeah, really good. Maybe we will discuss how to make it so that you also can code at some point.
yeah. Well,
And
there's something that I will sort of for the folks on the stream and for you
yeah.
too is like very soon, as in like this week. So definitely by the time we're streaming, we're gonna be like beta testing a feature in Observable where the two of us can code inside the same cell at the same time and
Oh,
like see each other's cursors.
oh,
And so you should be getting access to that very shortly.
pretty
Um,
exciting.
yeah, and so then I can have the same notebook open, and when I could be trying stuff in a different cell, or I could be like, I can highlight things and say like, hey, what do you think of that? So I think that would also improve this, even, make it even more fun.
Yeah, yeah, great. And then train some, yeah, yeah, really exciting about this idea.
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
Well, I mean, thanks so much for having me on your stream and teaching me and uh, showing. I
You're pretty,
love.
you're really welcome. Thanks to you.
Yeah, it was really great to see. I mean, we didn't even get to see even close to all your work. It was, like we didn't talk about the motion blur or GSL. So
Yeah,
there's,
but yeah,
future streams can go in all kinds of directions, I think. But
yeah,
this
sure.
was really fun.
Yeah, let's uh, let's try something the next time, and then try to animate it using different elements, different tools, and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
So thank you to everyone, and see you soon. So next one should be in 2 weeks. Actually, at the same hour, same
Yep.
day, uh, and see you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.